We are live in 3, 2, 1, and we are live. Hello, and welcome to Khosi Nation Fan TV. I am Pelo. I am your host. This is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. Khosi Football Club. And for those, I hope you're enjoying your Good Friday because you are here. You are not at church, so we're doing a live stream because so today we're going to talk about Arthur Zwane with yet another clapback. We've already talked about his clapback at Junior Kanye, which seemed to have worked, and now he's gone and clapped back at another person. He has hit back at another person. So I hope his streak goes on and he keeps on rebuking those who go after him. But before we look at the comments, before we look at everything that Zwane said, please do the things that need to be done. Please like the video so that it can reach more people like you. If you're new to this channel, in this channel we speak everything Kaizer Chiefs, we preview matches, we react to matches, and we now do watch alongs as well. So yeah, that's interesting. So join us tomorrow for a watch along from the hour before the game to react to the starting 11, and then the game starts. Then we talk about the game, and then after the game I will make a video, so content for the whole game before and after the game. So join us for that as well, and subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you can be part of that as well. The other thing is, obviously, please make sure to become a member if you have not become a member yet. It's only 20 rands. You get early access to content, loyalty badges next to your name, and priority reply to your comments. So that will only cost you 20 rand. So I want to hear what you guys have to say as well about this issue at Zwane. So I think I need to hear you guys talk and tell me, Uguti, what do you think about Umangete and how he's handling people who are saying or talking smack about him. Right, so let's go straight to comment. Yeah, okay. For those of you who somehow don't know Uguti, what Steve Barker said. Steve Barker after the game was complaining about how Chiefs always gets red cards or yellow cards or decisions in their favor, basically. And Zwane has responded. We responded with press conference yesterday. So he said, I understand what people are saying, but I would also say they can do their own homework and maybe watch all those games and review, actually, then tell me if the red cards were not legitimate. We played against Richards Bay earlier this season and got a red card. When we got the red card, the score is 0-0. We won the game 1-0. So why won't people mention that? I think it's what we've been saying, Vele. We said this after the game when we were talking about this thing, Guti. If you look at all the decisions that people are moaning about, Guti Chiefs benefits from these decisions. If you go back and look at all of them, there is not a single one of them that you can look at and think, oh, Chiefs cheated in that decision. There's not a single one of them. And obviously, it's not like we're excluded or we get excused from getting the red cards, because we also got a red card of our own, which was supposed to be a red card, if we're being honest. So nobody moaned, nobody said anything about that. But now people are finding it in them to complain about the decisions if they are going Chiefs' way. But when they are not going Chiefs' way, nobody's saying anything. And then he continues to say, I clearly don't understand this. That's what I'm saying. Why don't people look at the positives rather to focus more on the negative? Certainly you understand. Maybe, this is deep. This is deep. I will read it again. He says, I clearly don't understand this. That's what I'm saying. Why don't people look at the positives rather to focus more on the negatives? Certain things you understand, maybe it's the color of my skin, but it's fine. We learn, we grow every day in this game. Yabona-ke manje is just funny enough. As I'm saying this, it's making me realize ukuthi he this thing is pissing him off to a point yokuthi I think what we were talking about earlier on in the week, when we were talking about who's this woman, McGregor, the club legend. I did say it was before my time. What McGregor said as well when he was supporting Steve Barker, oh no, vele Chiefs, the decisions, they are right, blah blah blah. To say Chiefs might be cheating. So now Zwane is getting to a point where he's saying maybe they are busy targeting him because he's black. That's where he's gotten. That means he's really frustrated if he's at a point where he can say they are being racist. Because I mean, why would you question umuntu game in, game out, ekubeni ubone ukuthi the decisions are actually justified? And he ends his talk by saying, actually the credit should be given to these Chiefs to these players because they work very hard. It's never easy. That's why I'm making an example against Sundowns, Cape Town City, where 1 man down, 18 minutes left. With the quality of Sundowns, they did not score. Did Sundowns not create chances? They did. By the way, this is just another edition. These people who have been complaining about how Chiefs don't score against 10 men, which is true, right? Now I've complained about it, but I've also said, as much as I complain about Chiefs failing to score against 10 men, I also understand it's just difficult to play against 10 men in any case. So I think Zwane has set the record straight to everyone, for everyone to know as much as he's keeping quiet, it's not because Agabe is banned to say anything, but he's saying what he's saying because he actually just he keeps quiet because he's choosing to respect those people. Yeah, super sporty really. That's really quick. Anyways, let me read the few comments and then we can just continue. Usimba is saying that's it. Yes. We are enjoying that. Umandla is changing our topics. Mandla was changing the topic before the video even started. He's saying, I definitely feel Marumo is beatable, but because they play in Africa, I've seen them play the same intensity for 90 minutes without fail, and that's the advantage they will have against Chiefs. Mina Mandla, I will say this thing, good team. Any team against the Chiefs with the pace that we have, forget equality, forget in the quality, the pace that each Chiefs has, forget the quality, forget the technique. It doesn't matter how much intensity you play with. If you leave spaces behind and you are playing against Dupree, Usahil, not Dol, uzoba senkingeni. I know it seems like I'm saying the same thing over and over again, but I know this thing, you just cannot compete with e-pace. E-pace can beat equality guamanyama games, not in every game, but in some games. Because if you think about it, right, just think of Luka Modric. He's a very good technical player, but if you play him against a player who is pacey, just for example, as quality as he is, but you play him against N'Golo Kante, I'm not saying he's a better player Kante than Modric, but I'm saying Kante is much more mobile than Modric. So Kante will get to where Modric would be getting faster. Yes, Modric will have the quality of knowing where to be and when to be. But this is not about a midfield battle where you can say, oh, it's just a matter of positioning. This is a matter of a system yonke that is saying we are pressing, we are playing a high line. So it's not like, oh, where is the midfielder? Don't lose him. Press him at all times. That's different in the middle. We are talking about wingers, players who are attacking a base wide. And that is why it's easy for Chiefs to win any game. Not easy, but it's made much easier for Chiefs to play games where these teams are leaving spaces behind the defense hub. Because if you are playing a high line, All we need is just one pass kasamgelo over the top, stebe over the top, then we're in. I know it seems like helicopter football, but helicopter football did not have quick strikers. We were trying to get crosses all the time. And in this case, we're getting more and more 1v1s. And because we get these 1v1s, eventually one goes in. And we've seen that happen over and over again. And defenders end up panicking and then they make mistakes. Or it's the keeper today, tomorrow it's the defender. So they can play all the intensity they want. If they leave spaces, they will be destroyed. And Zwane is noticing that. I mean, I will keep on saying, I like Uguti, he's noticing that, and he wants to basically take advantage of that. If you're a good team and you play high line against people abane pace, and you fail to block just one through ball, then usenkingeni. Even the best teams that play on a high line, they will struggle against a team that has pace in their team. Our man is saying Chiefs plays in patches, and that's going to be the biggest difference tomorrow. We will have to hope they don't concede during those patches. I think that is true. That is true, because more than also beyond Uglala we play in my patches, there's also just the fact that we also switch off after scoring. We also have thing tomorrow might score first, right? It's just a thing that can happen. We score first and then we relax. I think that's our biggest problem. Relaxing after scoring, there is a problem that it chiefs up. If we can deal with that, then all of these problems that we have might not be as problematic as we perceive them to be. Umandla continues to say, our two center backs are playing against each other. Umsimango notitlok. Oh yes, TS Galaxy and Super Sports. Play uthi Khosi Nation awe Khosi. Uluthando is saying ubabeka endaweni yabo mangethe kancane kancane. He's tired. People have been talking and he's been quiet too much. Soon enough Mangete will hit back at me, but I don't criticize him, so wazi ngayisho ke nablete ngisho. Uspesihle is saying our new signings Ditlok and Msimang are playing against each other right now. Please watch after the live. I can even watch it now in the live and just do a watch along while we air it. Yeah, Super Sport has scored. It's the 12th minute against the TS Galaxy. Blade is saying sometimes entertaining these naysayers is a waste of time. The only reason they lose against Chiefs is because they undermine Zwane. Exactly, they do undermine Zwane. It's this thing that that has been even the media themselves. There's just this obsession and focus on the Chiefs. I get it, like, because if you talk about Chiefs, you are likely to get a response, engagement. That's how this business of media works. Without you guys commenting, without you guys liking the video, which by the way, please like the video, without you interacting with the content that I put out, then the channel doesn't grow. Same thing with this media platform. It doesn't matter how big you are, how small you are, how big of a journalist you are. If you're not getting engagement in whichever platform that you are using, you are not going to grow. So targeting achieves now and now, time and time again, will get you the most engagement that you can ever get, because in South Africa, Sundowns, like if you think about Sundowns, for example, the team that is most obsessed about us and who are always talking about who are dominating South African football, they won the league and there's like how many games remaining? They won the league with 7 games to go. They won the league before they played their last game, and they were getting a guard of honor. And you would think a team that just won the league will fill the stadium with their fans coming to celebrate Uguti. yeah, our boys are getting the guard of honor for the first time. They don't, because Bana Balandel, they have few fans who can't give you nothing. They can't give you anything in terms of engagement. So the best thing to do as a media outlet is to target the Chiefs, say whatever that you want to say about the Chiefs. And because once you say that, or you target the Chiefs, or Mangete, or Kaizer Chiefs' player, then you have something that people can engage with, that can click on. So Uzwane, at some point, it's not like he's going after them necessarily, but it's this thing which eChiefs has done this thing which I think is great for eBrand. We've talked about how much Jessica's does her job, how good she does her job, because yeah, na team, as far as I know, eChiefs team engineers that do these media days on Thursdays. I've seen some Amazulu they do it, but most of the times I just see Chiefs doing it. The other teams just do pre-match preview before the games, right? But usually Chiefs does it on Thursdays, which is what we usually see in the teams in the Premier League. Which, if I'm wrong, ningitshele my comments if there's another team that he does it like Chiefs consistently every week. So because of that, Veluzwane gets exposed to these questions week in, week out, and he can avoid them for so long. There is a point where it's like this question has been asked 10 times, so you address it. So there's gonna be a point Veluzwane is going to say, I've responded to this question already. And there has been a time where he's been asked questions about, do you fear for your job, blah 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 blah. And that question has been asked again and again and again. But he has kept on answering it in different ways throughout the season. And now there's this criticism, Yama red card. So it's a hot topic. You can see, go to Twitter. If you go to trending, you see Kaizer Chiefs is trending. What is the topic about? The red cards, the beneficial FC. Okay, let's jump on the trend and talk about Chiefs even more and see what reaction we get. Oh, people are talking about it. You do the same thing with the Sundowns, no one will care. So it's a strategy by the media as well to try and make sure Guti they get the best out of the situation with the Chiefs. So Zwane has to respond. Amanda saying if you watch the team struggle, if you watch the teams struggle with its teams with high intensity for 90 minutes straight, that's what I'm arguing. That's why Maromo is top of their group. Of their CAF Confederations Cup. And he continues to say Maromo doesn't have quality really, but they have intensity. And I will say, if you want to bank on pace alone, you will lose. No, I mean, I'm not saying pace is the end all and be all of things. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that we've played against better teams. Right? We have played like Pirates is a better team than Maromo Gallants. Say what you must about their performance, but they're a better team. They have more quality. They have more intensity. Well, in my opinion, anyways, in what I've seen. Gallants, we've played against them this season, and that game wasn't scary to me. It was just a mistake, and then it was a goal. We didn't play. So my thing is, with intensity comes spaces, and that's our strength. Pace. It's not good thing. Our game plan should be okay. Let's hope they play highlight. No, but I'm saying their first thing that they should make sure Guti they do is make sure Chiefs doesn't get space, because if they get space, then they exploit the space. That's my first argument. Guti, every team that plays against the Chiefs or any team that has pace, make sure Guti you prevent these spaces behind them at defend. And then again, intensity ingaba khona. But again, how do you play with high intensity if you are sitting deep? You get me? So with your intensity, any team that plays with intensity, I can think of Bayern, Liverpool. Let me not even count them for my team. I'm just gonna say you have Barcelona. They just lost to Madrid. In Madrid now, but they don't use intensity that much. So they just usually they do mid press. They don't do high press for some reason, because Ancelotti doesn't like the he does it when it wants. He just uses traps in the middle. So he applies the mid press. And if you look at OC, Tabo Bayern, other big teams, they try to make sure Uguti they press you all the time. But the biggest thing, Liverpool is actually a good example with this. They try to make sure they press you high as possible and win the ball back and try to attack you. But what has become the problem, for example, for Liverpool, is that the pace that they had, Van Dijk and Gomez or Matip Nanaya pace that much, but Liverpool depended usually on Van Dijk for a pace to recover, even if we are playing a high line. But the moment Liverpool lost pace Van Dijk because he got injured, the moment Liverpool lost our midfielders, Wijnaldum, who were very good in pressing and making sure there are no passes that create counters, then Liverpool started struggling because in midfield, Bavuza, they can't stop passes and balls from being played behind. And number two, they can't recover because they are no longer as quick. Now you have a problem, Yoguti. They get exploited because of their high line. Look at Man City. Man City, a very good team. Salah has scored in every game that they've played against Man City. Look at how they've scored this season. Again, it's Man City attacking. Liverpool wins the ball back. They kick it to Salah. Salah gets a one-on-one. He scores a goal. So that's my thing, Uguti. As much as you might say, oh no, equality, balance is not there, but intensity. But what does intensity comes with? Any tactic that you mention any tactic that you mention comes with its own strengths and weaknesses. You sit deep, then you are welcoming or you are letting a pressure pile up on you. But if I'm a team, I would bet on having Chiefs in front of me because if you have Chiefs playing in front of you, we've seen this. They struggle to break down teams. That is why they struggle so much to break down teams with 10 men. Because teams with 10 men sit deep, they don't open any space, and basically you've shut them down. How many times have you seen Chiefs play intricate passes in front of a team, then all of a sudden they find that pass that just goes through two defenders? It was once where I saw Matlo do that. Otherwise, I've not seen it. So that is what I'm saying. Mina, by closing or sitting deeper when you're playing against the Chiefs, you are giving yourself advantage because breaking down teams is not their strategy. But also you are giving yourself the advantage you are the one who can exploit the space that Chiefs will be leaving behind with their defense that's not doing so great. So that is my biggest thing, Uguti. Yes, intensity, blah blah blah, but at the end of the day, intensity comes with exposing yourself in one way or the other. Mandla is saying Marumo faces faster teams in Africa, and that's what worries me. They will have an idea of how to battle Chiefs. And then he also says Zwane must just focus on football, to be honest. Winning talks more than wins. True, but as I said earlier, Gwesin's cut is just forced to this. Because I'm sure Guti would have wanted to say this earlier on, but he's not said this because he could have said it after Ufadlu complained, but he didn't say anything. Now Steve Barker has said it, and McGregor has also added on that, so it has just made the situation worse. Also, Elihle saying hello Mpilo. After scoring, Coach Zwane must tell him to pass. Ufuna kutwala yonke into uboy and cha selfish yena and uya cost. I think I said this on the preview video. You can check the other things after this video in the match preview video. I was talking about this, Guti. All our forwards just need to stop being selfish once we are leading, because the moment we are leading, we start thinking, oh, now everyone must be a hero instead of scoring as many goals as we can. But our boys just need to learn that. Liberty saying, I hope Marumo underestimates us and they try to go for 3 points from the start so that we can have space in behind. I love it, Liberty. When I see WhatsApp group, I know our best tactic, we call it meta. most effective tactics available is exploiting the space. And ngizolokhu ngilicula leli culo even nakusasa. Ukuthi once asithola nje space, we are within. That's all I hope for. Underestimate us. That is why game here Super Sport, the fact that we still have a Super Sport, kind of scares me a bit, because that's the only game where you are not expecting a team to come and attack your Chiefs. Because, oh well, he did underestimate the Chiefs last time and they ended up losing Hunt. I don't know this time what is he going to do, but let's worry about it Gallants for now. And I hope they take that. I want them to take the leli point ilgamandla lokuthi we have faced faster teams so we can deal with the Chiefs. Bazobona. And I will say on Amandla, this is not, by the way, to dismiss what Marumo Gallants has achieved in Africa, because to be frank, I am impressed by their performance. I am impressed. So I'm impressed by how they've done. They are representing South Africa really well. It was shocking. Someone actually commented and said, look at the level of African football. Number 16 on our league is on top of the CAF Confederations Cup. I was like, yeah, but it happens. It's 2 tournaments, so sometimes you can't necessarily say, oh, the team sucks because they are bad in the league, because you can find good they are struggling in the league because they are performing in the CAF Confederations Cup. So at some point, because they are winning money as they are progressing, they are getting more money as they are progressing, they're also thinking, okay, let's push and get 2 more million, because they are a small team and they need money. So it could be affecting them. And we've seen this. That is why Chiefs need depth. We have seen the teams that usually play in I've seen mostly Premier League, because in South Africa, teams that they usually get knocked out earlier on. But any teams that goes to continental championships or CAF Champions League or Confederations Cup, they struggle in that season because they are trying to divide their squad between playing CAF Confederations Cup and the league as well. So I think that might also be affecting why, there might be the reason why they that is why they are in the position they're in. Mandla, you are actually proving my point, because you are saying Chiefs was in CAF Champions League final but were fighting to get into top 8 in SA. Exactly. It does affect you, because then you ask yourself, if our team was good enough to fight for a Champions League that season and go to the finals, how well were we going to do if we're just focusing on the league? Once again, it's tournaments that because we Champions League also, you are playing, we are home, we are away. Okay, we're done with this game. Home, away. Okay, we are collecting our points. You structure it differently compared to how you structure a league, because in league it just keeps on going and going and going. So it does affect you. It does affect you. Uhlubi is saying Olampilo win tomorrow, come rain or high waters, Khosi aliphela umoya. We have sent our brown envelope to the referee. Yebo. I am ngibonile brown envelope, and it was a bit bigger this time around. We want the referees to do things for us. We are cheating. We are cheaters. We rob people. We're embracing the darkness. Akere, they say we are cheating. We are cheating. We are taking that. Who played? Okay, Umxolisi is saying Olampilo awem Ogza, and then who played is saying, guys, we demand more from Chiefs, and sometimes we forget that this is the first season from him as a head coach. True, there's logic that people use as guys. They say something like, oh, we can't be building for 8 years. And they put the past 8 years on Zwane as if Zwane has been building for the past 8 years. And Zwane has been building for the past 9 months. So I agree with you, Played. Our Played is saying you can bet Uguti we are just getting the penalties without any fault. Exactly. It's like to a penalty. Only is saying Chiefs is winning tomorrow, guys. Khosi for life. Awe. Unati saying Olampilo Nation. Awe Unati. Mandla is saying Gallants beginning of the season and versus now are two different teams. So I don't think you should underestimate them, especially if you have been following them in CAF. They're a gritty team. But it's not underestimating, man. It's to me, I would say I can say right now, bring Sundowns tomorrow and you will see how many Chiefs take Gallants away and play them against the Sundowns. We will still get the chances that we got against the Kazrik because those systems yama high pressure and high. Because Gwawena Mandla, you can't tell me Uguti Chiefs when they played against Sundowns, they didn't get the chances that I'm talking about. Meaning, I'm saying, a system yabo has a flow. Any system that is playing high pressure has a flow. Yoguti, it opens you up to pacey players. Not Yoguti they suck or they won't be able to manage. I'm just saying, Guti, it does create that thing for each Chiefs. It creates an opportunity that we wouldn't have if you were deeper in your play. So it's not like Galan sucks. And by the way, on my intro on the other video, the pre-match video, I was also being sarcastic in a way. I wasn't saying, hey, we're gonna crush them. It's a fact. It was also just being sarcastic. Because as I said, we've paid the ref. Who played the same Pilo? You can't mention those tiny teams like Sundowns and Liverpool. Late, Kuzek. Theo is saying Sawbona Mpilo Mfethu. Awe Theo. Who played is saying Junior Kang say nigga Ushane McGregor ipaton. Theo is saying Mina ndine worry ka Peterson. He's going to cost us. Why Kasi leader avele adle ixesha and he costed us already against Stellies. Yeah, I would say Uguti with him, I think it has gotten slightly better this time wasting thing, but he does do it. I just feel like against Stellies, it wasn't as big of a deal as in other games where we are like the ones who are in a position where we can score, but it slows down the game, right? But if he's wasting time in the last 10 minutes of the game, I get it. Like, well, there's one goal difference, so you can slow down the game as much as possible. It's just that sometimes if you're slowing down a game, it's 1-0, it's the 25th minute. Why are you doing that? That's the problem that I have, man, when they do that. Ulipat is saying, I think football in the Champions League and in the league is very different. So they may be amazing there, but they not have what it takes in the league. Exactly, because at the end of the day, you can't tell me Uguti, a good team, even if they are that great in Africa, they are below Pietermaritzburg United. They are below Swallows. The Swallows has had, I don't know how long they've played without a coach, yet they are still above Marumo Gallants. Like, that tells a tale. Like, look, Swallows has 27 points. Ichipa at one point was like, hey, team on form. But they are just like 3 points above Gallants. But still, they are above Gallants. So I think what you are saying, Lipat, is true, Uguti. Ibola, because you count differently. Here, good Champions League. Good Champions League. You're just like, okay, we need to win this game. We have 3 points. Okay, we just need 9 points. So you are making sure, Guti, the 3 games that you're playing, you're playing like they are finals. And the league, I think it's also a mental thing, man. In the Champions League, I think it's also a mental thing. Mandla, by the way, and Liberty, because you are the one who wrote that comment. Because if you think about it, what's the hype like? Your comment earlier, you were talking about how Chiefs were fighting in top 8 in SA, but beating or with that in the Champions League. What is that? And then you come back to SA, you lose against. We're talking about a team that drew against Baroka the previous season to blow the chances of winning the league. And then the next season they're beating Abu Simba 3-0. We're like, what? Right? So you're like, it's a thing. It's a thing. Why is it that a team that has been so good in the Champions League, they are so bad in the league. It's two different competitions. Like there was a time where Watford in England, they reached the final of Carabao Cup, and then they just got smacked 8-0 in the final. That was the most embarrassing final I've seen in my life. So it happens. It's different competitions, and a different competition comes with different intensity, blah blah blah. It's just different. We are over time, and I have to read a few more comments and then close. Manda saying building for Chiefs only started with Zwane. Before that, they were trying to do quick fixes with up coaches and players. Exactly. It was always about win us a cup, stop this thing from extending, and then it kept on extending. Swelihle saying please help with live stream game for Chiefs. Same off as kunzima sibuke ama games ngoba singekho emakhaya. The only thing I can do with Swelihle is to just be watching a game with you, not necessarily to stream. I've explained this before, but I'll explain it in case you were not there on the day. I cannot like stream the games live on my channel because DSTV can tell YouTube I'm stealing their content, copyrights, because they have the right to broadcast the league. And if I show the league on my channel, then DSTV can sue me and have my channel blocked. Imagine the channel is invalid because I did that. If there are links that I know of, I will share the links on the live stream because there are links to watch the game. So if you're watching, we'll probably have the links and we'll tell you where to go and watch the game. But I cannot stream it live on the channel. Mandla is saying what I'm saying is Gallants now can win 3-2. They can concede, but they can grind wins. I'm saying Chiefs won't get chances. Oh, I'm not saying Chiefs won't get chances. Gritty is what Arrows and Stelly's second half did. They do that 90 minutes. I'm picking slap because at the end of the day, I mean, I'm talking on the side Yoguti. It doesn't scare me Uguti team plays with high intensity. It doesn't. It just, to me, I view it as an opportunity. They can destroy Chiefs because we know Uguti Chiefs sometimes goes to sleep, right? Like they just go to sleep. We know that they can get exposed. Me and I'm just in a point where I'm like, okay, so Gallants, this is what we know about them. High pressure, high intensity, concentrated for 90 minutes. So what can we do about that? Let's exploit that. That's where I'm at. Trevor is saying, Ola Khosi, our Trevor. Utemba is saying Chiefs wins no matter what, our Temba. Umanda is saying Gallants had like 3 coaches. The current coach is doing well. Don't underestimate that. I am not. I am not. Manda ngathi we are panicking about this game. Ulipati is saying if I panic now, what do I do in the last hour before the game? Because I panic very when Chiefs is playing. I said this, Uguti. What I try to do now is look for opportunities. That's why it sounds like I'm underestimating teams, but I've kind of stopped trying to look at what could go wrong and look at what could go right. I know it sounds like I'm stupidly optimistic, but it's the fact that it has worked so much this season in our favor. That is why I'm always like, okay, if they do that, we'd have a chance then because we've done it before. The reason why I'm saying I agree with you, but if they grind and fight the entire game, we can be defeated because that's what happened in the game in Cape Town City. We didn't show up at all, and then we lost the game. Cheaper now, they did the same thing with us. We didn't show up the second half, then they won the game. Our only part is saying if they play deep, they will frustrate us because when we have position, we don't have defense splitting passes. So we end up doing everything to try and score, which leaves us very open and vulnerable. About those long range shots from Martin Khosi. Ushub is saying when Hunt took us to the semis of the Champions League, he said PSL is faster than the CCL. So the Maromo situation makes sense. Umandla will argue that the teams that are playing in the Champions League are better. so 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 that's another situation. Mina into engifuna ukuyenza manje ukuthi you just want to measure. There's this argument ukuthi which league is better. Is it the Premier League or is it the La Liga? And people will tell you ukuthi it's La Liga quality wise, because look at how many Champions Leagues they've won compared to Premier League. But then someone else will make an argument ukuthi no, but look at the Premier League. Premier League, they have a different winner until Swallows started. I mean, Man City started making it a Farmers League for the previous 5 years, and then Liverpool interrupted a bit. But usually there's competition. Anyone can beat anyone in that league. So that does not mean that they are the most entertaining league, but that does not mean they are the best league. So teams that play there, they compete every other game. But you take Brighton and you play them against Valladolid, then Valladolid leads and beats Brighton. But Brighton, they are like 6th on the league. Valladolid is fighting relegation. So it's that thing, in one league there can be a competition, like teams are fighting. But then on the other one, where there is more or better quality, then the other teams are winning. I'm just saying, sometimes things like that happen. How do we actually measure which tournament is better? Like, because you watch a game Zulu, say Sekukun, you watch that game and you're like, wow, what a boring game. All of a sudden, Swallows plays in the Champions League, and the team that they are playing against is always like high pace. Swallows will have to increase their game. But if they're coming back to our league, there is like slow pace, then they will struggle. So it's tricky to really identify what makes one competition that is competitive look better than the other. Because if you look at the Champions League, it is like always just whoa. But then after that, you're like, okay. You watched Otau playing with Champions League against Madrid. I remember I was so proud of Upesita in that game, playing against Madrid. But he went to play for Brighton in England. Couldn't survive. And that makes you ask your question, Uguti Aibo. What is happening? How come this guy was playing so well in Belgium against Real Madrid, yet he struggles to play against in Newcastle? Well, Newcastle, before they were like this in the Premier League, he fails to be a starter. With Brighton, yet he was a starter. Yes, a system and nan. But sometimes he just couldn't cope with the league itself. The continental one, it's like a once-off in 2 weeks, so you give everything you have. And then you chill. And then it comes back, then you give everything you have, because you know you have limited games. Here, you are fighting with, let's get a draw. We're away. And let's do this. So it's what I'm trying to say is that it's difficult sometimes to actually measure which league is better, because the criteria is just a bit tricky. But Umxolisi okay. Usbu is saying Maromo is more dangerous when playing big clubs. Ubonile nje Royal Emi and Zen. #I'm scared. I mean, guys, my team scares me enough. That is why I choose not to be scared anymore. I just go to games and then I start panicking an hour before the game. Otherwise, I would be panicking from Monday until the game arrives. I can't do it anymore. It's not good for my health. Olis is saying, guys, Zwane must start with Zwane and Sitebe. Sobon. Indaba isekutheni Umat can be brought back on. I said this on the other video again, the match preview, Uguti. If he thinks Umat adds more value with regards to defensive ability, yak. But my argument was Umat, yes, he works harder and is better than Zwane defensively. But I've seen Umat playing alongside Usteb and we're still dominated in midfield. Like in a game, I think the game before Leicester is So Ustebe was there and we were getting dominated the same way that Steli started dominating us when Uzwane and Ustebe were there. So then I'm like, what was the difference? I know it's there because obviously Utumat is making more and he's more experienced and he knows how to cover more ground. But I'm just saying, Guti, I have seen him the same problem we have. Ngamsukela uGraham Potter we played. Who played is saying that was good, was doing a good job ku-Brighton. uGraham nje wayenenkinga noTawu. Leti ningamsukeli, nihambe nisukela abelungu babantu. Nimiyeke nje uGraham Potter. UPotter did not have anything. He had no thing that he was doing there. He was just uTawu struggled. I heard there were reports that after the City game, he actually asked for a break himself. It would be great to hear from him, but I don't think he would admit he wanted a break. Because you look at all the players that are there at Brighton, all of them, they are fit kwamanyama level. You have players abo McAllister who play for Brighton, but they were such of a good impact with World Cup, and yet no one was expecting Guti in a team like Argentina, a player who can become so dominant is Alexis McAllister. It was like a shock to a lot of people how McAllister ban Manjelo. But since mina I watch Premier League and I know McAllister very mnandi. And then you know what you're expecting. But now we just go with Uguti. We don't know Uguti who's this player. He's playing for Brighton. Why is he choosing McAllister over this one? Why is he choosing Pascal Gross over this one? And then you look at all the other things that Abo Gross and Abo McAllister and that they do, then you see what Ubugo Mitoma, then you're like, let him imnand. Or Trossard, because the person who was taking his scheme from Mutahu was Trossard. Trossard is playing for Arsenal now. Look at Trossard, look at how good he is. So it's just a thing, Yoguti. It was too much for him, to be fair. Let me just stop here, because if I continue, we'll go on for hours and hours. Kanti ngifuna ukubuka second half yale game yeTS Galaxy ne Super Sports. We've gone over time, but the conversation was going on. If you haven't liked the video, please do like it. By the way, I will see you before the game for a match watch along. Now that I think about it, I can read the remaining comments because the game is going to have time in any case. Let me read the remaining comments. We'll end the show. It will be a special edition. It's an hour today because Yala is still talking. Anyways, Umandla is not getting me. He's saying I'm not panicking. I'm not panicking. I am just, it's treat every team with respect. I'm not disrespecting them. I'm not disrespecting nobody. I am just saying I am tired of fearing people, because I feel like no line with the Chiefs that I end up anyway looking at how well the team does and how they can punish us, and then it becomes like because if you look at the Chiefs, any team, literally any team, like we gave Kazrick the game back, but they had no business coming back to that game. We have seen teams like Swallows giving Chiefs some trouble. We have seen all the teams that we played against. There is not a single game that the Chiefs couldn't have lost this season that they played, because all the time the only game that I think we can say we dominated from start to finish was that 3-0 win against Pietermaritzburg United beginning of the season. Beyond that, there is no other game that I can say Chiefs played and they showed good, they were a better team. Every other game, Chiefs is good for 45 minutes or 30 minutes, and then the rest of the game were like this. So to me, that has more to do with the Chiefs and not the quality of the opponent. So the opponent can be as good as they can be, but if the Chiefs shows up in games like the two games that are a good example of that is the Pirates, both games the Pirates. We were not we're not super attacking and what. We're just solid enough to say we'll get one chance and score. And that's what we did. So to me, it's not disrespecting the other teams. It's more about Uguti. I know Uguti, our team can do anything to anyone. The problem is that will they do it? Umanda says, when you are too far ahead of yourself, you end up being complacent. These ones, that's exactly what I'm saying. If we don't show up, we end up being complacent. Or if we score one goal and we're like, we've won, and then we end up losing. That's what we need to fix, Vele. I agree with you on that one. Uplay is saying we need to loan Caleb to Swallows or Stellenbosch. Will they take him? I want to loan him to Stellenbosch. Umandla will say they must give us Van Veek. I know that. And then Mandla is saying EPL is better. Competition-wise, I would definitely say that there are more teams that can do different things with EPL compared to La Liga. Liberty is saying, I think La Liga teams are better at tournament football. That is another... You see, I think what you've just said here when I Liberty also describes what we are talking about here when we are talking about what's this thing? Indaba yegalants. Some teams are just good in tournament. Not good, they are bad galants. But look at France. If France, Deschamps, their coach, is just good at winning tournaments. He's not like a coach who's going to be dominant every other game. Fana no Ancelotti. Ancelotti is not like a good fancy coach who will win games with extravagancy and whatever and dominance, and he doesn't do that. Ancelotti, he just wins games. I watch Madrid Ancelotti and I'm like, how are they winning? They have equality, yes, no question, but there are other teams in Europe that have equality. Well, not as the same quality as Madrid. But in Madrid, they just know how to suffer, absorb the pressure. Imagine, let me just count team in Madrid. They have Courtois in goal. Right back, they have Carvajal. They have Alaba. They have Rudiger. They have Mendy. That's like a dream team. Those guys will start in almost any team they play in. Like, quality. Even the goalkeeper. Go defensive midfielder. Uhambile ku Casemiro, they have Camavinga, they have Kroos, they have Modric. Hoibu. Up front, they have the guy who Vinicius is going to win Ballon d'Or in the next 2 years, or even the next year. You have Benzema, and then you have Valverde, who's being played out of position, by the way, because in midfield he can't play. But now Kroos is now being like taken out more and more, and then they take Valverde back to midfield, and then they played Asensio on the right, who is Asensio, but Valverde is a better player. But they have a good team that can dominate, and that does dominate, by the way, Ebola when they want to. But most of the times, Madrid doesn't play like that. They don't play the expensive football or nice football. They just know how to win, and nobody complains, because the culture in Madrid is not fancy football, it's winning football. But if you take Ancelotti and make him coach Barcelona, then Barcelona fans will have a problem with that, because Barcelona fans are more entertainers, destroy teams. But Madrid is like, win us the game. Just go and win the game. At the end of the day, teams that go win the games, they tend to do better. But that can't work for all teams, obviously, for obvious reasons. One is saying La Liga has only 3 teams. Atletico, Real, and Barcelona. If we have to be honest. Tatu, good evening. Fanam Unai Emery and give me Sevilla with Valencia. So Tata win the Europa League. Sas. Who are saying Kaizer Chiefs is winning on Saturday? Only parties. Okay. Mandla first is saying also EPL has adapted Spanish football now. Not just strength now. It's position football. Exactly. And they are quick. You struggle. You can see people who play there. It's a struggle. Madridians amanga Tau who played saying Tau was doing a good job with Brighton. Graham King and then Usimba is saying This BARKER was made. Msawangos is saying, hello, Khosi Nation. Zwane should start tomorrow so that Matt will join up, will up his game. Yeah, you start Uzwane, he performs bad, and then people blame Uzwane for not starting Umat because they will say, oh, but Gut is not good defensively. You don't start Umat and then you don't start Uzwane and then Umat has an average game, and then people will complain, Uguti, why did you not play the guy who had a good game in the previous one? Then there's no winning. As there's no winning for Zwane for this game, for his selection yakhe, there's just no winning. Blade is saying Khosi is saying that boy can pass. Actually, he's clever enough compared to Matt. Again, people will argue in the experience because they argue in the experience. Dao played 3 games and 1 assist, guys. He did get an assist, but he was struggling overall because nakhona leyo assist wayithola kanjani. Did he start a game or did he come on 20 minutes abantu sebekhathele and got that assist, right? It's a situation. Let me see. I'm trying to do something else that will show me my stats capes, but we are running out of time. Oh yes, Umxolisi is saying Mpilo, you must end the video 2030. Vele, that's the point. I broke my rule for some reason. I got away. I got too excited and ended up continuing. We're not supposed to go live for more than 30 minutes. Ulepat is saying maybe Tao would have been better suited in a different league. Go to a French league, then go to the German league, Bundesliga. That's a better way to go to a Premier League if you are coming from a Bundesliga. A lot of players that come from a Bundesliga actually do better in England for some reason. They just do. I don't know why, because maybe the intensity there is high. It's just that Bayern dominates all the other teams, but somehow players who come from the Bundesliga, they struggle. Yeah, no, angenze nje. It's been great. Before this video goes on for 2 hours, I am not doing it. I refuse to bow down to peer pressure of making me make long videos. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you on tomorrow's live watch along. Like the video, continue commenting for those of you who will be watching the video afterwards. I will see you tomorrow, and go check out the match preview that I made on the channel. Thank you for watching, and until next time, remember, equals Alpelumoe.